if you look at the entrance, come around here, look down in there. The reason why I decided to go into this box, it's like, you know, almost 60 degrees today, Christmas Day. But down here, see, there's busted up pieces of comb. That's not normal bee removal. But see right there, that black thing, that's mouse shit. And I literally was like, shit, when I saw it. And there's another piece of mouse shit. And then if you look in this bottom box, these bees are cleaning up, but you could zoom down in. You see wings, headless bees, just abdomens, you know, all these parts. But then if you look around in here, there's see more mouse shit, right? But that's because the bees clustered, and these bees are in these 3 boxes because I didn't push this down and reduce it. I gave there too much excess space, so a mouse was able to come in this hive. Also, there's no mouse guard on it, but this colony is strong enough to repel a mouse. But when they're clustered up here, the mouse can work in the bottom. If you look at this frame right here, you could see, you see how this is, it's almost like if it was honeycomb robbing, looks like that, where it's like kind of serrated edge of the comb, but this is a mouse scraping it down. And they're going in it for either partially pupated bees or the bee bread. You see it's eating that bee bread. It's like a protein source for the mouse. There was some damage on that frame, and then we got another one here that's pretty prominent, the damage. Yeah, if you look at this frame, you see it, it's kind of gnarled up. But yeah, you know, you could look at that and tell immediately that it's mouse damage. Anyways, so now that it's warm enough and I'm, you know, a little more caught up, I'm going to reduce this down. So you do see this bottom deep box has a bunch of, there's some drone cell, but those frames like this one, the bees are cleaning up. Darn, I just switched to bee. But this is all with the bee bread in this worker cell in this bottom box. Just because it's wintertime, they don't need it. But as soon as they start making their spring bees, which will be like literally next month, they're going to need a place to, as they push back down from the boxes they're clustered in, they're going to need a place to lay those spring bees. And it's going to be this. So you do want empty comb in the hive, but not when it's this big almost, you know. Well, rather, there'll be a frame or two in here, these upper boxes. I'll leave worker cell without anything in it, resources, so that they can start a nest. And then I'll undersuper and reintroduce this deep. But it's too much real estate right now because while this colony can handle the mouse, if that mouse creates too much damage and too much mess, there's poop everywhere, bees are super hygienic, they'll be grossed out by that, could cause them to abscond. Or eventually the mouse could get up and start picking on bees if it gets real cold and stays cold and the bees are clustered and they can't work it. They could get predated that way. So anyway, yeah, just be careful to not have too much real estate on the hive. For many reasons, not just their ability to manage the heat, but also to manage the pests. I guess I'm going to just take this whole thing, tap it, and dump it. They're not going to like that, but it's the quickest way I can tell to get all this mouse doo-doo out of here. Ooh, look at the bottom of the tree hollow. Spiders, all the rest of it. Anyway, almost there. I was able to get them into these 3 mediums, but then I saw this. See, this is, I think, what does the mid-Atlantic region bees in, or anywhere where you have a roller coaster ride winter. See those 3? Each time it warms up, it cools down, warms up, cools down. The bees spread out, like see this one here working, but then the temperature suddenly drops and they don't make it back to the cluster in enough time, and then they just torpor there. If it warms back up, then they can move again, but if it doesn't warm back up in enough time, they're toast. And then you have, you know, the cleansing flights that happens, just natural die off, you know, and it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Whereas if it would just stay cold and they would stay clustered, they would have much less bowel movements, you know, activity flying, resource consumption, breaking of cluster and reclustering. So to mitigate that, you gotta like crowd them bees in and combine the hives quite liberally, you know, to get as big as fat of a cluster, maybe artificially bigger than it would, you know, conventional thought would say it needs to be, so that you have a surplus of bees to lose through that attrition. So there you go. Look at how these bees are clustered. They already hit me in the temple once or twice, so you see them right there. Let me see if I can lift up. They're in this box a little bit too. And they're in that box a little bit too. See them? All right. Well, that's all, folks. Merry Christmas. All right. So I was going to mountain camp it, but not yet, because, you know, it's pretty thick. They're warm. I got a bunch of cream honey I can give them. But I reduced them down to these 3 mediums, and I took the feeder out and put 2 drawn empty frames in, so they have kind of room to work. And then the inner cover is a partition between all the stuff I took off. There's a bunch of honey in the top box that they didn't get to, but I don't want to give them any more real estate than they need. So these 3 boxes, yeah, I am pulling that honey away, but that's less area they got to run around and chase mice. And then I'll either just store all of these overwinter above the mountain camp, or strip them away later, or render the honey or something. And then in like 2 months or so, I'll reintroduce a deep underneath, so they have room to expand before the flow.